Hi Scorpio, welcome to your mid-September 2021 General Tarot update. It's Rena here. Trying to get the top card of this. It was so hard to grasp. I already know the title of this video, and I don't put titles on all my videos. I had someone say to me, could you please put a title, because they wanted to know whether or not it was worth their time to even click on the video. And, you know, it just doesn't, sometimes you can't wrap things up like that. It's not for, you know, I guess you could just do it, but I just don't feel it sometimes. But I'm going to call this reading When You Know, You Know. Based on the first and the last cards that I picked. The heart of the matter is the Seven of Cups, and this is a card of, I think it's connected to Neptune, but it has that, probably like Neptune and Pisces, which we're in right now, but just this idea of kind of feeling like you're wandering in a maze. You know, something is confusing. Sometimes, to tell you the truth, I really feel like the word confusing a lot of times is a lie. I mean, you know, that's a harsh word, lie, but I mean that it's usually, to me, a situation where someone doesn't want to accept the truth or even contemplate the truth. And so they're just saying, gosh, I just don't understand. I can't figure this out. When in fact, if they really just sat down and thought about it, it would make total sense. But it's not what they want to hear. So the Seven of Cups can be wishful thinking, hoping that somebody's going to change. It's a card of addiction. So that definitely kicks in if you love somebody who has an addiction. Now, it doesn't have to be a partner. It can be a best friend or a parent or just about anybody that you care about. And a child, you know, which is really, that's got to be very difficult if your child has succumbed to an addiction. But knowledge is power, or admitting it is the first step. You know, whether it's your addiction or somebody else's. Admitting it is the first step, because then you can just work from reality instead of running away from the truth. And I will say that, you know, I do believe that that confusion is going to be the result when you're not being straight with yourself. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm definitely not saying that you won't be confused, but I'm just saying the confusion is just not facing up to the truth. In the past position, we have the Hierophant, which is a card of marriage, a card of tradition, Taurus, your opposite sign. And maybe this is a person you've been dealing with. Maybe this is like religious conditioning that has told you, oh no, God hates divorce, you can't get divorced, that's the last thing you can do. But you feel like you've tried everything with a person. Maybe the person has been cheating continuously, has an addiction, has a gambling problem, whatever. And you just don't know what to do about that situation. If this is work-related, your professional life, this can be a... The Hierophant to me is the established order. So I always think of the corporate environment with this, but the Hierophant is a religious or spiritual influence. So it's funny, you got the Hierophant and you got the the High Priestess. And it's funny, I'm wearing a t-shirt that's the High Priestess today. The difference is, to me, between the 12th and the 9th houses, or the 8th and the 9th houses. The High Priestess to me is more of the 12th house, and the Hierophant would be more of the 9th house, more of like that established religion. And maybe that's where you're coming from, and it's not honoring your intuitive gifts. And especially if that's something, so maybe you belong to a church that you've outgrown. And this, I think this happens so very often because we're usually raised in those kind of traditional sects. There's a book called The Joy of Sex, Sects. And it was actually a very interesting book about all these different religious beliefs, these religious sects. So yeah, it could be like feeling disillusioned. That can be the Seven of Cups, and that when you're disillusioned, that creates confusion because you believed in something and now it's not paying off for you, spiritually, or for your peace of mind, or what have you, and maybe it's even creating more stress. The higher message, Six of Swords, leaving behind the chaos, the drama, the lack of peace, and choosing peace. Number 6 is connected to Venus, which is connected to harmony. The swords, one of the key words of the swords is, it's funny that I can't even think of the key word. I was going to say stress, but conflict, I think, is one of the key words of the swords. Now, it's interesting too because swords connect to air signs, and air signs are connected to the intellect. So the swords connect to your thoughts and your communication in general. And isn't it funny that can also be equated to stress and conflict? Because what is meditation? Trying to get rid of your thoughts. Maybe not completely, but at least paring them down a bit. So if this is, about any area of life, it's saying you don't have to continue in that stressful environment. You can actually leave that environment. I don't know why people put themselves through certain things. Of course, if it's a job-related issue, you might be worried about money. And it's understandable, but still. And even like a marriage or some kind of like a live-in relationship, you may be like, well, I can't really leave because I can't support myself. I can only, I can only support myself if I'm with that other person. And so if you are in that position where you want to leave a relationship, but you don't have the financial wherewithal, then that has to be your focus. How do you get from A to B? Because it's easier just to stick your head in the sand, and that's kind of what the Seven of Cups is all about. What crosses you is the Tower card. This is that card of crisis, release. And what crosses you is that maybe there has been a Tower moment already in your life, and you have refused to get the memo or read the memo. Maybe there was something that indicated that somebody is not willing to be faithful, to be sober, and yet you are sticking your head in the sand. And basically, the Tower, as some kind of surprise or, something revealed to you that you didn't know, that kind of thing is obviously dramatic, but some people do not listen to it. It's kind of like when somebody has a health problem, let's say they have a heart attack, and that could be the Tower too, like some kind of, or if they have an addiction, yeah, like a heart attack or liver failure, and they go back to drinking, using, even after this dramatic effect. It's like, okay, well, the clock is ticking, what are you going to do? It's going to be, what is it going to be next time? Maybe next time you're not going to fare as well. Do you want to have a stroke? Do you want to be paralyzed? Do you want to be incapacitated in some way? So, or if somebody, gets a DUI and they get their driver's license taken away, and as soon as that, but they don't stop drinking, even though they get their driver's license, and they're kind of tempting fate. They're, and for the other person who's watching this, it's kind of like saying, okay, do you see what is going on here? Are you going to stick around for the next level of calamity? This isn't going in the right direction, in other words. These kinds of understandings. What is coming in is the Three of Wands, and this is a yearning for something more out of life. That's always a good sign, because it means that the person isn't satisfied with the status quo. And there is always, with Wands energy, a sense of freedom, a sense of autonomy, meaning that you call the shots in your life. You're not waiting. You're not a sitting duck. That can be, to me, the Tower card, being a sitting duck. Let's say you are in a corporate environment and they have been cutting people and they haven't cut you, but you don't know. It's like it's kind of like being tortured by the unknown, like what's going to happen. And the whole fact is that they have no intention of letting you know. They're going to just spring it on you, maybe, because it's all about what's in the best interest for them. They want to have as many workers as they can until they don't need them anymore. So, the Three of Wands is kind of entrepreneurial energy. It's creative energy. What can you do? Maybe you need to start being creative, Scorpio. Even if you keep your day job, maybe you need to start creating some kind of a service or sell something that you make, whether it's online or in person, and always have something to fall back on. Maybe that will make you feel like you're not confused anymore, that you have some kind of direction. The outcome is the High Priestess. This is about getting in touch with your higher self, but it's also about be still and know is part of getting in touch with your higher self. But also on top of that, it's that something is yet to be revealed. So if you are in the dark about something, it is possible that this will come about at some point. You do have a lunar eclipse, a powerful full moon, which oftentimes brings about those revelations, or can at least, in your opposite sign of Taurus on November 19th. And this is going to be in your 7th house of committed partnership. So enough said on that. Okay, that's what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that resonated. If you would like a private reading, I am promoting my double readings, which are called deep dive readings. I have one with the tarot and the natal chart analysis. These are for special prices, and I have one for just the chart, and it's like an hour of natal chart interpretation and an hour of transits for the coming upcoming 12 months, just to give a feel for some of the energies around certain areas of your life and what you've been contending with some of the slower moving planets. You can find out more information at rainamoonastrology.com. The link is below. Take care. Bye.